was a chance. It was a chance, a good topic because if you listen to what our honorable class captain said earlier on, my background is not broadcasting. My background is a built environment. My first degree is in quantity surveying. My first master's is in project management. And, I've gone on to do a few other things. I've been a bank director. I've been founded companies in technology and in telecoms. But here's the thing, what has kept me and the reason why I was invited here is because I'm a broadcaster. And the reason why I'm known more as a broadcaster than a few of the other things I've done is primarily because that's what I have a passion for. I have a passion for broadcasting. And so I've stayed with broadcasting and I've constantly tried to do the best I can in broadcasting. Passion produces success, not only in broadcasting, but in most endeavors that one goes into. I mean, so many people have said things about how passion leads to success. John Maxwell said that a great leader's courage to fulfill his vision comes from passion and not his position. To go to broadcasting, what's her name? That woman that I really like, Oprah Winfrey, has said that passion is energy. You feel the power that comes from focusing on something that excites you. So it says that for you to be successful in whatever you're doing, you have to be passionate about it, and broadcasting is one of them because it's a difficult terrain to tread. It's I presume that most of us here are into broadcasting or like broadcasting, and we know the challenges that come in working in broadcasting in Nigeria. But what passion does for you in anything that you do is that once you display passion for something, it equips you with a positive attitude that makes you I wouldn't say happy to fail, but it makes you accept it when you fail and you say, okay, I failed once, I'm going to stand up again and I'm going to go ahead and do it again. And you find that when you do things over and over again, you inevitably get it right at the end of the day. Passion allows you to be creative. It allows you to be focused. It allows you to set your goals and be focused on them and strive to achieve them. It fuels your motivation. Success is not a sprint. It's a marathon. You go around the track many times. You work hard. You keep doing the same thing many times until you get as good as you can at every single step of the way. It also what it does, and which is what I find the most interesting about passion, when you display passion for something, it attracts like minds. It attracts people. It attracts you to people who are in that field and people who are similarly passionate about the same cause. I see that every day in my day-to-day work. I know people in my office who are passionate about what they're doing. They're passionate about coming to work. They don't come to work like, oh, I have to be here at 8, I have to leave at 5. You see them working, you see them doing things that are not their core assignments, but they're trying to improve themselves in whatever way they can. They're trying to enjoy the entire gamut of this passion that they have. So those are things that passion brings to it. When you look at the most successful broadcasters, when you look at I mean, name anybody that you know. If you take me, for example, I work late. I work hours that are not scripted. I mean, if the governor says he's coming into the station for an interview today, I have to cancel all my plans and sit down and make sure that the interview goes well, whatever whatever it is happens. You know, that's because I'm passionate about it. It's not because it's a job. It's because I want it to go well. It helps me to connect. It helps me to achieve what it is I want to achieve. You in broadcasting, you need to take on, like I said, assignments that are not necessarily yours. You do them. You're constantly trying to improve yourself, just like you're trying to do now. It's all the passion. You know, it makes you go the extra mile. I mean, you see broadcasters, journalists being arrested on a day-to-day basis. Yet they come back to the same work the next morning. As soon as they release, they're back on their bit. That's the passion. That's where the passion comes in. You know, and so I would say that in order for you to be successful, you know, passion, particularly in broadcasting, passion is one of the things that is to me, it is actually the most important of all the traits or skill sets that leads to success. I say that because it's not something that you can learn. I can learn to drive a car. I can learn, but I cannot learn to be passionate about something that I'm not passionate about. It's in it. It's in you. It's something that you have or you don't have. No, you're not going to. If my wife is passionate about African magic, I'm not going to get passionate about it because she is. You know, you have to have that passion in you. You know, and if you look at the gamut of successful people in broadcasting, you'll find from John Momoa to Oprah Winfrey, who I mentioned earlier, to, you know, you'll find that there's one thing. John Momoa still comes to the studio every day. You find that the common thread among these people is that they're passionate about it. You know, and that's the thing. But having said all the good things about being passionate and about the reason why passion helps you to succeed, you know, it's still not enough. It's still not the only ingredient that guarantees your success. It in itself doesn't guarantee your success. You can be passionate about broadcasting, but with all due respect, you're not good at broadcasting. You have to be good at broadcasting. You're passionate about it, but you have to know your limits. You have to realize that you have to get realistic, independent, unbiased appraisals to tell you where exactly you are in this broadcasting thing. I mean, like, people walk up to me every day and say, "Oh, people say I talk very well, so I you know, I really want to go into broadcasting." That's not all it takes. You know, you have to know where you can passionate about it, but you need to know where your flaws are, where your weaknesses are, where your strengths are. You know what I mean? You strengthen, you train yourself, you read up, you attend seminars to make yourself better in the places that you're not. You need to be realistic. Otherwise, you just find that, you know, you get demoralized when you're not getting the results that you want. You may have passion, but you also have to be goal-oriented. You have to set realistic targets for yourself. You know, you have to know that I'm going to go into I'm passionate about TV broadcasting, I'm passionate about radio broadcasting. I'm going to go into it. But you go into it and you have to set realistic goals. Don't think that at the end of your first year, you're going to be the top broadcaster in your state, in your country. You need to set realistic goals for yourself and keep improving. And that the passion is what takes you up to these milestones that you have realistically set for yourself, you know, so that you don't wake up after 2 years and say, this passion, am I really passionate? It's not really working for me. It won't work for you in isolation. You have to surround it with with learnings and with realistic targets. And then also, and I'll stop so that if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer. And, I can go on, this is what I've done forever. So I can go on forever. But also in being passionate about broadcasting, you must not let it becloud your judgment. You must not let it becloud your vision, your 360 vision. You may be passionate about one aspect of broadcasting and pursue that, but you must also look at the 360 of it. Will I be a better scriptwriter than am I better equipped to be a scriptwriter than a voice, than the actual face of the thing? So you can pursue your passion, but still work in the industry as something else while pursuing your passion, but make it, because if you are passionate and you're not paying your bills, you are passionate for yourself. Your spouse or your landlord will ask you at the end of the day, how are we paying our bills? So you need to be passionate about it, but at the same time, you need to also ensure that you're not being clouded off by your passion and not being allowed to see the other opportunities that come around you. I give you an instance. I started when I started radio. That was when what you call those telecom companies came in, and we saw that there was a confluence between SMS messages and short codes and so on. So we set up a company that did short codes, MTech. It became one of the most successful companies. That's also within the broadcasting thing, but it's not called broadcasting, but it's an opportunity that came up around the broadcasting industry, and that's still there. So those are a few things I'd like to drop, and I'm happy to take any questions. I'm happy to get any comments or put any clarifications out there. Again, thank you for having me.
Okay, class. If you have any question as regards the lecture so far, please signify by raising up your hand so that you'll be called up to ask your question. All right, Mr. Moses Francis, please ask your question.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. So
good evening, Moses.
I have two questions for you, sir. Number one, as a quantitative surveyor, what arose your interest into joining journalism or broadcasting? And the second question is, what can make one to lose passion for journalism or broadcasting? Thank you, sir.
Broadcasting, I came into broadcasting when it was brand new. And because I started to engage in it, and that's my nature. Anytime that before I go into anything, I have to study it and I have to look at my researches and do what I need to do. So I got very good. I got trained. I started like class captain said, I started doing when I go on holiday, I'll go to radio stations and I'll work there and I'll be an intern and so I got into it and I found that it was it's alive. It's on a day-to-day basis. It's a different thing every morning. There's a different topic to talk about. There's a different news to highlight. And so I got interested in it, and that awoke my passion. Which doesn't mean that I still don't do quantity surveying, and I still do all that work as well. But architecture and broadcasting is my actual passion. Now, what can make you not be passionate is things I've just said. If you're not making progress in the broadcast, it can lead you to begin to question your passion. And to me, that's not right, because you will not always succeed. Nobody succeeds 100% in everything that they are doing. You just need to keep going at it, keep doing postmortems, finding out why you are not succeeding as much as once you are succeeding, you will not leave. You will not, your passion will not depart you. Your passion departs you when you are tried, when you are not as successful as you think or thought that you were going to be. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, sir, you have, sir. Thank you.
All right, Umukoro Joshua, please ask your question.
Good afternoon, sir. My question is a bit away from the topic of today, and it's I noticed that one of the core values of the Mega Electrics Group is staff training. Is there a structural framework within the Mega Electrics Group that allows for this, and how do you drive sales campaign?
How do I drive sales campaigns, and
yes. And how is there a structural framework in the Mega Electrics Group that allows for staff training?
Staff training is an intrinsic part of I still even attend trainings. You know, staff training is an intrinsic part of the culture here. I mean, everybody has to attend at least 2 trainings. We're fortunate to be in bed with the BBC and a few other people who do training. So every year, from the engineers to the on-air staff to the sales staff. In fact, the sales staff are going to an APCON training next week. Everybody has to go for training. And if your HOD doesn't put you up for training at least twice a year, it means that your appraisal will go down. It means that you're not teachable anymore. You can't be so good that you're not put up for training. It means that the training is about to be wasted on you. So everybody has to go for training. It's part of your appraisal. And if you are not put up, you have to raise it up to management. And then how do we drive sales campaigns? I mean, that's a totally different thing entirely. You drive sales campaigns based on the objective of your clients. I mean, I won't wake up and just start doing a sales campaign. I will have a client who wants to do a sales campaign. So based on what he's trying to achieve from the sales campaign, we structure it and go from there.
Okay, thank you. My final question is, the Mega Electrics Group actually promotes the entertainment industry. By playing music of the artist, what other contributions have they been making in the entertainment industry?
The Mega Electrics Group operates in the entertainment industry, so that's our primary constituency. But we do a lot of other things. We do a lot of CSR. We do community development things as well. But it's not our job to improve the industry. We have at every time, we have across the country, we have 30 interns, either youth service or short 3-month interns from universities. That we do, but we don't have it where we have a board of directors, so we're a for-profit company. We're not set up to train the world. We do what we can.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome, Mukoro.
All right, on Ubosi, please ask your question.
Honor is at a party.
Honor, this is Sammy. Honor, just mute your mic. If you can't, if you're in a noisy place, you can just send. Honor, if you can hear me, just mute your mic. If you can hear me, type your question and send it to the chat icon. I'm sure the boss will take it up from there. Ada, go ahead, please. Ada, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. McDonald Samuel, please ask a question.
All right, thank you very much. Good evening, sir. Hello, good evening, sir. Can you hear me? Hello, sir, can you hear me?
Good evening, McDonald. Yes, I can hear you.
All right, my question is like this. Passion and hard work, they are two different things. Hello, sir, do you understand? Say passion and hard work, are they two different things?
Are you asking me or you're telling me? I suggest you're telling me because
I'm asking passion and hard work, are they two different things? And if
of course, passion and hard work are two different things. If you are passionate and you sit down in your bedroom, how are you going to be successful?
All right. Okay, so then my question is this: how can you really explain when someone is working with passion and when someone's job is a product of hard work?
No, passion is not the only ingredient for hard work. It's one of the ingredients for hard work, like I said. It's one of the things, what to me is one of the most important things in success. If you work hard at something, if you work hard at a profession, if you work hard at anything, and you're prepared to, you see, what passion does for you is that it gives you the impetus, the positive attitude. It gives you the focus to work harder at what you're doing. And it gives you the attitude, like I say, to take failures if you get them. But of course, if you work hard at anything, you should read a book called The Outlier.
Sir, we can't hear you anymore.
I think you muted me now. Oh, hello, can you hear me?
No, we can. Ada, we can actually hear him. Mr. Ubosi, we can actually hear you, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay, if you read, class captain, you have muted me in your own microphone. If you read a book called The Outlier by Malcolm Gladwell, I think it is, you will understand the benefits of hard work, the benefits of doing things over and over again. And hard work, nobody in the world can tell you that hard work doesn't bring success. But passion without hard work, anything without hard work, you're wasting your time. Unless you're a genius. So passion and hard work are not the same thing. And anybody who works hard will eventually be crowned with success. It's biblical as well.
All right, sir. Please, Odi, please ask your question.
Did I answer my brother's question? I mean, is there something else you wanted me to throw a bit more light on?
No, sir, you did, because I actually want to find out. Thank you so much.
Yeah, passion. You cannot be. If passion, not a carry passion go bank. You cannot go. Are you going to be passionate? What are you going to do with? You have to work hard. Okay, go on, class captain.
Okay, sir. Please, Odi, please ask your question.
All right. Thank you, Adobe. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Odi.
Yeah. Please, I want to ask that. Getting to know about the numerous advantages that passion gives or add to one's field of pursuit. Are there hidden pitfalls or dangers that are likely to drastically derail one's passion in the field of pursuit?
In the field of what?
Hello, can you hear me?
I didn't hear the last part of your question.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, please let me take the question again. I mean, getting to know more about the numerous advantages that passion has or give to one's field of pursuit. Are there hidden pitfalls or dangers that are likely to drastically derail such passion?
I kind of alluded to it when I said that, first of all, you need to have a certain amount of skill, a certain amount of talent in what you're passionate about. I mean, I can be passionate about playing football, but if I'm not good at it, I have to work hard at improving what I am not good at. You have to be, if you're passionate, you still have to have the basic, you still have to have the knowledge, you still have to have the skill sets to be good at what you are passionate about. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you're not good at it, you will be disappointed because everybody around you is better than you. But if you're passionate about it, it's that's what drives you. That's what helps you, gives you the drive to want to get better and continue to be the best that you can at what it is that you're passionate about. Passion on its own, passion without the skill set for broadcasting at this is what we're talking about now. It's not going to cut it. If you're not good at what you're doing and you're passionate about it, it's not going to have any success. You have to get, like I said, clear appraisals of where you are from a skill set standpoint. Unbiased. Don't ask your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend to tell you ask a professional to tell you, what do you think about me in this role? And they will tell you, and your strengths will be known to you, your weaknesses will be known. You improve on your weaknesses. And your passion is what drives you through that entire process and along your journey.
All right, thank you very much, sir.
Okay, Daddy Guardian, please ask your question.
Thank you, Adobe. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, my brother.
Thank you. With the limitations set before journalism in Nigeria, as a journalist, how do you pass the message the way it is to people, not forgetting the political, security, and leaders' threats or manipulations? That's my first question. Then secondly, with your experience over the years, please, what's the simple secret in broadcasting? Thank you, sir.
I'll answer the second question first. If I knew the simple secret, I'd have retired since. There is no simple secret to anything. You just have to keep grinding because Nigeria, everything changes at all times. So you just need to keep adapting. You need to keep being agile. There's no silver bullet. Otherwise, all of us would have closed by now. To go to your question about how, with all the vagaries in broadcasting, you see, when you own a radio station or a broadcast medium, a TV, radio, DSTV, whatever, you hold that frequency. In Port Harcourt, we have 99.9, 91.1, 102.7. We hold that in trust for the public. So I tell my friends in government, this morning I've got 3 phone calls about how one of my stations said something against the government. And I tell them that I owe it to the people, the stakeholders in broadcasting are your listeners, your advertisers, your staff, your shareholders. I owe it in trust. I owe my listeners. There cannot be fire in the building next to me and I'll tell them that, it's everywhere here is very calm. It's not possible. And I say it to them. I say, I will, what we do, and Sammy will bear me witness, is that we give everybody a chance to say it as it is. If you have had no electricity in your house, can I, in good conscience, open the radio and say that electricity is perfect in my neighborhood when it's not, I will give Mr. James the opportunity to tell me about how much electricity he's had, and I will give the electricity company an equal opportunity to explain to Mr. James why he has had no power. You know, so if you navigate it and you are seeing, and again, Sammy can bear me witness, I've never said support somebody or not support anybody. I'm holding it in trust for the public. I've been to EFCC many, what do you call those who that arrest people? Is EFCC, SSS. I've been there many times. So I go there and I tell them, I don't support, I'm a broadcaster. You owe it to yourself to be balanced. If I'm talking against PDP or APC, I'm not talking against them because they're all my friends. I'm not talking, well, they're all the same thing anyway. I'm not talking against anybody. You know, you give your as you give PDP the platform to speak, you give APC, you give ADC, you give SDP. Everybody has the same platform to speak, and that way you stay out of trouble. Where people get into trouble is when they sit on one side of the divide. But you can do that in your house or in your beer parlor, but you can't do that on public. It's wrong to do that. People do it, but I don't. We don't, and that's why we have stayed out of trouble. You must be balanced in whatever views you are taking, and if you have somebody on the radio who's saying something, he has to say that it is his own view, not the station's view. But we are on the side of right. So that's why we stay out of trouble. That answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
And that's part of the brown envelope scenario. When you collect money from somebody, we don't collect money in our office. Collect money from somebody, you cannot speak against him. So when he does something wrong, you can't speak against. So it looks so obvious, but we don't do that here.
Okay, thank you, sir. Olisa Abiazim, please ask your question.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Olisa.
Yes, sir. I want to ask, how important was your experience at AIM/Steam Broadcasting to starting up Mega Electrics?
Of course, it was important. I was there for a total of 19 or 20 years. Of course, it was important. I was a kid when I got there. It was amazingly important. I mean, I was important to them, and they were. You cannot, if you have a nanny for a wife for 20 years, you cannot not be important to your life. If you have a brother for 20 years, so of course they were. My life story can never be written without them.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir, can I ask a follow-up, sir?
By all means, I'm not the class captain. You should ask the class captain.
Yes, sir, you can ask your question, Mr. Olisa.
Okay, sir. So I want to know, how difficult was it to start up Mega Electrics, or was there any difficulty?
I hear you ask, was there any difficulty in starting up Mega Electrics? Was that your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, in starting up anything, there'll be difficulties. There are always difficulties in everything. But the thing is, you prepare for the difficulties. What I frown against is people who start things and then begin to complain about the difficulties. There's no NEPA, there's no there's no this. You knew this when you started. You knew the circumstances were the same, which is why you do it. Before we start anywhere, we do a research. People say I know the radio the most in Nigeria, but we do our research before we go to any location, before we do anything. And you must do that in anything that you're embarking on. So yes, there were difficulties. Finance was a difficulty. The terrain was a difficulty, but there are anticipated difficulties. You cannot start something without necessarily having a plan that you're working with. I mean, when there's deviations from the plan, every plan you have to have also what if, and so you go on, you move on to the what ifs. If we don't meet this target, what effect does it have on us going forward? So we had all those plans, and there are difficulties, but there were known difficulties, and they were eventually surmounted, and we still have the difficulties, but we're managing them.
Okay, sir. Sir, I want to just throw this last question. You are the executive director and co-founder of MTech Communications. MTech Communications is in 12 countries in Africa. Are you guys planning on expanding?
Which guys now?
Ada, this is Sammy. We've lost Tolisa. Whenever we lose anybody, you're just coming at that point in time. Let him know we've lost him. If he has to send a message by the SMS portal, the text portal, let him do that. But we've lost him and he doesn't know that. Okay, Ada?
Okay, sir. Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
So go ahead. Do we have anybody
all right,
else
Mr.
who has a
Mike
question?
Cookie. Yes, Mr. Mike Cookie, please ask your question.
Okay, thank you so much, Ada. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mike.
Thank you, sir, for the incisive lecture. Okay, sir, I just want to know, sir, going through, reading through your profile, I see that you are quite fast in broadcasting, sir. I want to know what was on your mind when you established this 5 premium radio station. What did you seek to achieve? That's my first question, and I would want to allow you to take it before I ask my other question.
Okay. Thanks, Mike. We have 4 brands. We have the Beat FM. We started with the Beat FM and Classic FM. The Beat FM was set up for the young and the young at heart. Classic FM was set up to fill the gap of old people like me who cannot really understand young music as much as we used to when we were young. We started with those. Then we started the Niger FM, which is a local languages station. And when we thought we had got the maturity, we started Lagos Talks, which is a talk radio station. Because talk radio is the radio station that gets you in the most trouble, because you're talking about what's going on at the time on a day-to-day. And you know, what we wanted to do was just to fill in the gaps that we thought were in the market. And we successfully did that. So what we have is 4 brands, and we have 11 stations in Nigeria in total. And we have 1 in London. We started that in London because the only station that used to play Black and African music in London was Choice FM, and that was bought over by the Capital Group. So there was no station that was playing Black music. So when we had the opportunity to start that, we started that, and we've successfully done that. So everywhere we go, we kind of try to fill in a gap, and we've so far been successful at doing that.
Wow. Thank you so very much, sir. Class captain, please, can I ask a follow-up question?
Yes, Mr. Mike, you can ask your question.
All right, thank you. Okay, sir, we've been taught in course of our training here that the values of journalism should be upheld at every point in time. So my question is, what's the hope for upcoming journalists in the media profession? Because we've seen veterans in this profession, they have been given or they've been called to higher responsibility in leadership and governance. And when they get there, they make a whole mess of the ideals and the ethics of this profession. In view of that, sir, what's the hope for upcoming journalists? Thank you, sir.
Now that's a very personal question, and you know it can only be answered by the individual. I mean, if you look at my resume, I've been offered to work for government several times, but I can only work for a government that will allow me to work to the best of my conscience. And so it depends on you. If you're offered a job in a higher, in what you call it, in government, and they allow you work. I have some friends who have worked in government and have come out unscathed. I have friends who worked in government and are still spending their time polishing their tarnished image. So it just depends on you. It's a totally personal decision. You have to decide with yourself. Does this person have the same ideals that I have? Does this person have the same values that I have? And if they do, then you can work with them. But if they don't, then it's up to you. You can go for the money and join them. Then you come out and spend the next 10 years polishing your tarnished image. But I have a friend who used to be a DJ in NBC, and what he said to me was, when you have a bowl of clean water and you put a speck of, there's one thing that in the olden days, young people won't know it, it's called blue. We used to use it to wash white shirts. You put a dot of blue in it, it taints the entire water. So everything you've done in the past is tainted by the little thing that you've just done. So it just depends on you. I have not taken any government appointment in any form because I'm unable to find. Not that people are bad or that I'm a pope or anything, but we just don't share the same values. And I if you will not allow me to work in the way that I think I can work and contribute, then let's just stay friends. So it's a personal thing. It's a personal decision, and you have to decide by yourself. So it's not a function of hope for the broadcaster. It's a function of hope for the individual. What do you want for yourself? Some people want a pecuniary gain, and if you're prepared to sell your conscience for pecuniary gain, then be prepared to live with the consequences.
Right. Thank you, sir. That will be all from me. Thank you. I appreciate your response.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Asha Frank, please ask your question.
Good evening, sir.
Evening, my brother.
So my question cycle around passion. Is it a necessity for one to be passionate to become a good journalist?
No. It's helpful if you're passionate. If you're a hard worker, if you're somebody who's prepared to put in the hours, if you're somebody who's prepared to do the work, yes. But if you're passionate, it helps. It helps you to be noticed. It helps you to do things that make you stand out. You can work hard at what the assignment that you're given. But when you're passionate, you will see that, and I see it myself in not just this business, but a lot of businesses that I've done. I see people who are passionate about what they're doing, and you can see there's there's something that makes them outliers. They kind of stand out because you see that they are passionate about it. But you don't have to be passionate. If you're diligent, if you're timely, if you're hardworking, you make a wonderful journalist, regardless of whether, you're passionate about art or music or fashion designing, but if you put in the work, if you have the characteristics of a good journalist and you put in that work, you'll still be a good journalist, an excellent one. You might even be more successful than people who are passionate. But passion is what drives you. Passion is what makes you do things that are not normal amongst your peers. And I'm sure you must know some people who are, I have friends who are passionate about music, and they just sit down and listen to music. And, you see it, you know that they are not necessarily making music, but that's their love. So that's the thing that drives you. It's the thing that lights that fire inside you. But it's not the only criterion for being successful. So in a short answer, you don't have to be passionate to be a good journalist.
All right, thank you,
Thank you
sir.
very much, sir.
Aphrodite, please ask your question.
How many more questions are we taking?
Just 2 hands are up. Oh, 3 hands are up now, sir. 3 hands.
Okay, so we'll close it after 3.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, madam.
Okay, to ask, are there times when you feel like your passion is dwindling? And then when that happens, how do you get it back?
Okay. Oh, yeah. Are there times when you feel your passion is dwindling? No. There are times when I feel that I'm not achieving what I set out to achieve. There are times when I feel that I could be doing a lot better than I'm doing. There are times when I feel that things are conspiring against me. And it is at that time that my passion kicks in and says, listen, you can get over this. Why do you think this is happening? Let's look at this thing in a bit more detail. Let us psychoanalyze, let us microanalyze it. Let us put this thing through a sieve and find out what we can do better. Because once you're being successful, your passion will not dwindle. Your passion dwindles when you're facing challenges, when you're not having the success that you envisage that you have. You look at it, you say, is it because I had set this plan too high? You know, people who run the 100 meters, their goal is that every year they will remove 0.1 second from they train for 365 days in order to improve by 0.1, 0.2 seconds. See, but the problem that we make is that we set targets that when we go to church on New Year's Day, we come out with a New Year resolution as if we are Superman, that by March now, I don't become the champion broadcaster in the whole world. Once you are not setting goals that you don't have, you have not also set the means for you to achieve them. That's when you begin to think your passion should dwindle. But it's not your passion that should dwindle. It's not your passion that is dwindling. It is your lack of success that is making you question your passion. But once it is your passion that should kick in at that time when you're not achieving what you think you should achieve, when you're having challenges, when you're having battles, that's when your passion should kick in and strengthen you to make you stay the course and say, listen, I'm going to get through this one. Even this one, I will write a story about it, how I got through this challenge. So it's not, your passion doesn't dwindle. If you have the passion, it won't dwindle. If you look at the circumstances that are about to affect that passion and ask why they are there, what brought about this situation? How can we remedy it? What can we do better? What did we do wrong? rather than thinking that it's going to make your passion dwindle.
Wow, thank you, sir. Ona Kosi, please ask your question.
That's Honor that went away the last time.
I'm so sorry, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening again, my brother.
Yeah, it must have been a problem with my device. I wasn't at a party. I'm sorry.
No. That was just.
All right. Let me also say quickly that it's such an honor for me to be a part of this forum and a beneficiary of your wealth of wisdom and experience. Let me quickly get to...
Honor, you didn't introduce yourself properly to Oga.
All right. So my name is Ona Kosi Sochukwu. Incidentally, I was born in the same town as you, in Otsuka. As a matter of fact, that's where I'm from. Everyone who knows this our industry should know Mr. Chris Ubosi. And that's why I have butterflies in my tummy just listening to you and to know that I have the chance to interact and ask a question and hear from the man himself. It's such a huge honor for me to be here. I'm a broadcaster myself, practicing, and when Mr. Sami offered me the chance to be here, I grabbed it with both hands because, I mean, how many times or how many places can you get what is on offer in today's lecture? Thank you so very much for availing us the chance to interact with you.
Thank you very much, my brother. I was born in Suka because my mom was in university when I was born. It's a story for another day. And then interacting with me is very simple. So Sammy knows that my life is not one of complications or unnecessary barriers. There are barriers, but it's not a big deal. But thank you very much for the kind words. I appreciate that. All right,
sir. To my question now. So how does growth in this industry happen? When it gets to a point where a broadcaster starts to feel that they have become better or they're at a level that is slightly higher than their current environment, how should they deal with that? Should they just keep working hard and getting better and better, bearing in mind or having in mind that at the end of the day, excellence cannot but be rewarded? Or especially in this age and time, constantly try to put themselves out there on social media, keep knocking on doors. I sort of sometimes feel that the second part is a little bit artificial. But if they are to knock on doors through social media and always putting themselves out there, how should they react to the resistance of those I like to look at as the gatekeepers? And two, sir, I think the industry is heavily concentrated in Lagos. Must we all migrate to Lagos to optimize our talents and potentials?
Thanks. You see, you have
Mr. Kosi.
Yes. Yeah. He has finished. Have you finished?
Yes, sir, I have.
Okay.
Yes. You see, I'm not. I don't want to take this conversation too wide. But half the problem that we have in Nigeria is, and I'm old enough to say it, is the intellectual laziness that we have in the advertising agencies, and also the intellectual laziness that we have amongst the A1 advertisers. You see, because if you look at the distribution of, whether you like it or not, like I said at some point in time today, Megaletics is set up to pay. We have shareholders who are putting money that we're set up to make money. So I would like to be in Maiduguri. But when you find that the advertising spend in Maiduguri is 1% of the total advertising spend in the country. Lagos still has 60 or 70% of the advertising spend, which is why Lagos seems to be the place to be. You know, when I was younger, I used to come to Port Harcourt almost I used to work in Shell, I used to work in, what's that, Total. You have a place in you know, I used to do a lot of work with them. But unfortunately, Lagos is the only place that has remained stable, and that's where the head offices of the advertisers are. MTNs and Airtels and banks and that and that. So with the egoistic nature of us, the MD wants to hear his advert on the radio when it's going on. The advertising agencies are here. They want to hear they want to do. So that's why Lagos has stayed has that ridiculous slant. Because as far as I'm concerned, Port Harcourt is well, I don't know about now, but at that time, it was a thriving, that whole neck of the woods was thriving and it was buzzing and everything was going on. The East is a sector that has people, has commerce, has money, you know, but everybody just concentrates on Lagos. So that's why the only places that actually pay wages that are wages to an extent, and which is why people want to scale up to that, we see that as scaling up, are in Lagos. You know, so that's the reason why that it's intellectual laziness. If everybody sat down, I mean, Port Harcourt has calmed down now. I was talking with everywhere is calm. My guys are there. Sammy is there now. Sammy came to Lagos the other day. He was even afraid in Lagos. More afraid than he was in Port Harcourt. You know, so that's the reason why. But here's the thing: as you improve yourself, you know, you have, and I'm not the only person that anybody can get in touch with. I mean, as I receive a CV, I forward it straight to my HR, and I say, listen to it, send it to the appropriate person, and let them listen to it, and let them give me a report back on it. So that when there's an opening, you say, this guy, we have got people here who worked in Abuja, who worked in Port Harcourt, who worked from everywhere. They just sent in their stuff. They don't know me. They don't know. They just send it in. You know, and I'm not the only person. That everybody wants good talent. So you put it out on social media, that's not a bad thing. It's free. It's yours. It's unrestricted. You target it at the right people, target it at the right places, you will get heard. The key thing that you said is that you just need to keep improving yourself. You need to keep putting yourself out there as well. Because whether you like it or not, there is a multitude of talent in this country. There's a multitude of talent. Your reputation also helps. You keep your reputation good. You keep good relationships with wherever you work, because it's almost incestuous. I know everybody in the industry. One person was sitting down doing an interview in my office, and his MD was in my office. So I walked out with him, and he saw the guy and said, I hope that useless guy is not trying to get a job yet. Look at all the emails that have come in from HR about him. I hope he's not, you know. So you keep your reputation good. You keep your relationships good. That's another thing the young people don't have. If you go to AIM Steam Broadcasting, they ask them about me. Nobody can tell you anything ill about me, regardless. You know? So that's the thing. It's a small world. We all just need to keep doing what you're doing. It's biblical, like I said. Hard work will be rewarded, regardless of whether you are a Muslim or a Christian or an atheist. Hard work will be rewarded. That's the thing I love about what you said. Keep improving yourself. Put yourself out there. You'll get the knock. It will come. It's not, and don't people look at it as if when I employ people, I don't employ them as if I'm doing them a favor now. They're adding value. If you're not adding value, there's no way you are even going to get through the door. I have CVs from the president's office asking me to employ. So I say, where do you want me to do? Are you the one paying my tax? Are you the one paying my diesel? I have no space for this guy. I don't know anything. You know? So it's you need to, you just need to keep knocking, improving yourself, and then choose where you want to go. Decide that this place is the best fit for me. If somebody sends me a message saying, I listen to your station and I think you have gaps here, there, and then I think I can do this. One person actually sent me, and he's working here now. I think I can actually do this, do that. Not somebody tell me come with a note from the governor. The governor is not, is it governor paying my rent? I'm running a business here now. Do I send someone to the governor's office for him to employ? You know, if we do the things right, do your homework. How interesting it is for you to get into an interview and tell them what's wrong with their radio station. Tell them what's wrong with their TV station. Tell them what you think they're missing out on or what they're doing in the radio, in the radio or TV station. You only say that when you have the CEO there. If you say that when the other people are there, you will not pass. But if you say that when the CEO is there, nobody can hide that under the carpet. You know, so it is what it is. But the key thing is that all regions are as contributive to the growth of the economy as is, but because of intellectual laziness, it's skewed towards Lagos. I cannot understand how 60% or 70% of the advertising budget is spent in Lagos and the rest 30% is shared across the country. It's madness to me. Thanks, man. And I hope I didn't get anybody into trouble or myself into trouble.
No, sir. Thank you so much. Gratitude. Thank you.
Okay, so we have one more question that I have to sort of jump on my 5 o'clock call.
Okay, Mr. Lisa, please ask your question.
Okay, good day, sir.
Oh, Lisa, how are you doing?
I'm good, sir. Sir, many of us could and would love to work with you in the future. And we would like to know, what are the major things you require from your employees?
Okay, that one I'll send you to HR. Should I give you my HR's email? Which kind of walking to the answer is that? Second base, Jerry. I mean, next question. Look at this man. Ask Sammy. Sammy works with us. Ask Sammy. No, but okay, I mean, you know, it's just, you know, it's and I don't speak for everybody. I run a business. I take the best people for a job. There are people who have worked in my office for a year and they have only just seen me once. I just read the interview reports and I say, this person looks good. I listen to the thing. If I want to talk to the person, I talk to the person. You know, so there are a lot of people, everybody is drawing a business. It's merit. You're bringing something to the table. And if you don't feel that you're bringing something to the table or you don't know what you're bringing to the table, then you shouldn't even be coming to the interview. You have to be bringing something to the table. You have to be coming to you have to be coming to earn the wages that you're demanding. You know what I mean? People come to interview and say, well, I can't do anything that you give me to do. And I'm looking at you like, are you serious? You know? So you have to emphasize what your strong points are, which is what I said about when I was talking about setting your goals. You know what your strong points are. I'm very good at working at night. I like to work. I work better at night. I work better during the mornings. I'm an early riser, so I don't mind to do the early morning shift. If I cannot do the early morning shift, I don't mind to co-produce the early morning show. So before they come in at 6, I'm already here. I've done this. You have clearly studied what we're doing here. You have clearly seen where you can add value. You have seen where we're missing out something. You know, those are the kind of interviews that I like to attend. Those are the kind of interviews that I like to listen to. Otherwise, if it's about the normal, oh, no problem, I can do all now. I can do everything. There's nothing I cannot do. I wink at the HR and they will tell you that the interview is over and you go. So it's about deciding, it's about researching the company you're going to work for. It's about knowing what you're going. I have people who come in here and they will tell me that this is Redeem FM. And I'll be looking at them that you came from your house. You applied for a job. You came from your house. You don't even know where you're coming to. That's the intellectual laziness that I speak about. And that pervades our industry. You feel that all I need to do is get a note from my pastor or ask my pastor. Everybody, I have a file for the notes. One day when I meet you, I'll show you the file. Now it's like four volumes. So it's about you having the confidence, not overconfidence, but having the confidence that you can impact this place. And then if you can't, you will say that I think you guys are doing well. And I'd love to partner here. I'd love to do this. So there's nothing really. We don't have a checklist of what we want. It's just we just take good people. We just take the best people for the job. You may be lucky that you're being interviewed with people who are dullards and you'll be shining star. But if you're unlucky and being interviewed with people who are clever, if you don't have anything outstanding, you won't get the job. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So can I just ask one more question, sir?
Yep.
Okay, sir, did you imagine to be where you are now 30 years ago?
30 years ago, I wanted Arsenal to win the league. That was my biggest concern in my life. 30 years ago, I didn't. As soon as I started the first magnetic station, I knew what I wanted to do. I could have done it all at once, but I decided to do it organically. I like to grow, learn from your mistake, learn from what you're doing. But I thought once you start something, this is part of the plan. And I will confess to you, the plan hasn't worked as well as I thought it would, because I thought we'll be into TV now, but it's not my fault. It's the government. The government hasn't done the DSO as quickly as it said they were going to do it. So we haven't gone into TV. But if they get serious, we will go into TV. But yes, if the short answer is yes, of course I do. You don't go into anything without, I sold everything I had to start this place. So I wasn't going to do it. My wife didn't even know that she was homeless. So it's, I knew I couldn't afford to fail. So yes, I thought I'd be here.
Thank you so much, sir.
Ada, I want to assume that's the last question. Ada?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the last question.
Okay. In the absence of any further question, MD, I want to say a huge, huge thank you to you. I'm sure I'm going to be echoing the sentiments and the thoughts of everybody when I say we've all been blessed. We've learned so much in the last, 70 odd minutes. We know how busy you are. You made our time from your extremely busy schedule to be here with us, interact with us, and teach us. We're very grateful to you, sir. Thank you very much, and God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much, Sammy. Pleasure is all mine. Thank you, everybody, and thank you for the kind interaction. And good luck with everything. And let's go win. God bless. Sorry, I have to run now. Bless.
God bless you. Thank you, sir.
So
right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, Ada, thank you very much. A job excellently done. And thank you to everyone who was in the class. Let me check. Let me just confirm. 30 of us. There were times when we had 32, we had 27, but we're over 25 who did this consistently from start to finish. I want to thank all of you. You all predominantly did what I asked. Questions were scripted to the point and nobody disrupted the class. So I want to thank all of you. Ada, again, huge thanks to you. A job well done. I think I'm going to do a special reward for you. I won't do that here. I'll do that in the WhatsApp group. So thank you very much, everybody. Just like my boss, I also have to run. I have 4 programs to do today on radio. I'm in my second office. I'm rushing to Mega Electrics now. I have 4 shows to do this evening. So I'll talk to you guys in the WhatsApp group. Thank you very much, everybody. Ada, you can take charge.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. So, guys, we are expected to hand and write down everything that we've learned at the course of the lecture. I'm saying this because of the new persons that have joined us. So, after the lecture, you would, McDonald Samuel, please mute your mic. So after the lecture, we are expected to write down everything that we've learned so far. I believe that during the course of the lecture, we were all jotting down. Yeah. So table everything you've learned and then post it on the group chat. Thank you guys for making my job easy. All right, bye.